106, welcome to the TKO Show with Kara Rowe. Thanks so much for joining me today. A great show today. Back by popular demand, Jimmy Graham, our mind power success coach. We talked about better sleep last week, and you had so many great stories. I wanted you to come back because I know a hot topic nowadays is weight loss. So we're going to talk about that during this half hour. And I'm just looking at one of your websites. It says, you know, how many fad diets have you tried? How many exercise programs? How much dust is piled up on your treadmill? Or how many clothes are hanging on your treadmill, more likely. We'll talk about that during this half hour and all the success you've had with that. At 1:35 with Andrea Doherty, a registered dietitian every Tuesday, we're going to talk nutrition, and we're going to talk hydration and the importance of hydration and kind of busting some of those myths. And then at 2 o'clock, celebrity sighting, Steve Basic is going to join us, an actor, a star. He is going to join us in studio to talk about what's going on in his life now. He has been in programs like ER, NCIS, CIS Miami, The Guard, Crash and Burn. I mean, he's been in tons and tons of series, so we're going to talk to him. And at 2:35 in our music segment, Eric Alper joins us, and we start to talk about kind of how much these albums cost. We talk about how much movies cost to make, how much some of these albums that we love and hold dear to our heart cost to make. But again, first we're going to kick things off with Mind Power Success Coach Jimmy Graham joining me, talking about weight loss, talking about diet. And you know, it's one of those things, everyone's always looking for that magic pill, and really truly sometimes something works for somebody and it doesn't work for somebody else, and everyone is always searching, and they want to search for something that's right for them. And as you mentioned, as I said on your website, getfitstayfitprogram.com, you know, one thing, how much dust is piled up on your treadmill. I mean, we do these things with good intentions, but, you know, if we aren't really mentally ready, or if we have all these ideas in our head, it's really hard to go forward with that, having these ideas of losing weight.
It certainly is, Kara, and thanks for having me back on. It's funny that little comment about how much dust is piled up on your treadmill, and you were like, how many clothes have piled up on your treadmill? And I talk to my clients all the time, the only time clothes should be on your treadmill is if they're sweaty, because you've already just worked out.
Right, good call, yeah.
Right?
And so when did you start incorporating a weight loss into some of your programming? Because you've been doing hypnosis and mindset programming for a long period of time, and initially it started with wealth. You know, gaining success, gaining wealth. When did you transition into weight loss as well?
Well, when I'm doing shows, I mean, everybody sees the power of the mind and how effective that can be using hypnosis to affect change. And then at the end of my shows, I'd get people coming up and go, wow, that was amazing. Does this work for weight loss?
That's seriously probably everybody's thing every day is the one thing is like weight loss. I want to feel healthier. I want to be fitter.
Yes. Yes, and it just was like, well, this is a natural. I mean, people are asking for it, and I know I can help them. And basically, it still gets back down to a thought process. If you're not consciously aware of what you're putting in your mouth, and if you're not consciously aware of, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to just sit on the couch for 5 hours after I get home from work and just watch TV. Maybe I should be active. You start going in that direction. Problem is that we're creatures of habits. So once we've established those habits, it takes a little while to get out of them unless you're reprogramming your mind to make better decisions about your life.
Yeah, it's a good call. That whole reprogramming is something we have to do, as you said, in changing habits. Because you think about things that we've done every single day, it's going to be just so natural for us to maintain that path. And to break out of that path is tricky. It does take some reprogramming of your brain. It's not just something as simple as deciding one day. You literally have to, you know, change those habits that have been created in your brain. So who was your first client that you tried your weight loss program with?
Well, that's a good question. I've worked with a lot of people, so I mean, going back to the first one, geez, I honestly, I don't remember. When I started doing my shows, I started offering the weight loss programs on CD. Because the real premise behind this is that everybody goes into the hypnotic trance states when you go to sleep at night. We've got 4 stages of consciousness. We're in beta right now, right? We're wide awake. But then you can go into alpha, theta, and then delta, which is when you're totally sound asleep. Now, the alpha and theta stages of consciousness are when you're in either a light hypnotic trance or a deep hypnotic trance. And you go into those states every night when you go to sleep at night. Basically, what is happening when I'm saying the word sleep in a show, all I'm doing is suggesting for the conscious mind to shut off. The subconscious mind never shuts off. Okay. So once you're programming your mind with new thoughts about your health, eating habits, exercise, and physical fitness activities, in a subconscious state, your subconscious mind just goes, well, basically, your wish is my command. If this is what you want me to do, I'm going to start accepting that, and I'm going to redirect you in a new direction, and you'll start automatically taking those actions.
So when we are asleep, we're still taking in whatever happens to be around us at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's why when you're a mom and you hear babies crying all
well,
the time.
you know what? I was just going to mention that. You must be a little psychic too.
You know what was amazing? I have to say, what's amazing. This is a side note. What was amazing to me is I had slept downstairs because I needed a full night's sleep, and I was like, I need a break. The baby was 1. I had stopped breastfeeding months prior. But when the baby cries, your uterus squeezes. It's like you're having cramps. Like it hurts so bad to wake you up to breastfeed, right? That's how your body kind of works like that. And it was funny because I fell asleep while listening to King of Queens, which I do often. It's my thing. It's my ridiculous thing. And in the show, I was out cold. In the show, the baby was crying. So I woke up with the most severe, like, cramping, and I was like, oh my God, do I have to feed? I'm like, no, I don't feed him. What's happening? But I heard the baby crying on the TV show.
Exactly.
And I was like, wow. And this was at a year. So I had stopped breastfeeding for, 8 months or whatever. So I was like, wow, that amazed me that I was completely out, but my, like as you said, the subconscious heard that, and then I instantly went into action of what I was supposed to do in reflection of what I was hearing, my subconscious was hearing.
And not only did you hear that, and your subconscious heard that, but it was real within your subconscious mind.
Yeah, I had a physical response.
And you had
from
a physical response
Unreal.
for it.
Unbelievable.
I mean, hypnosis, there's the state of hypnosis, which is basically the alpha and theta stages of consciousness, but the act of hypnosis is basically giving a suggestion, your subconscious mind accepting that suggestion, and then your body reacts to it, and it becomes a reality in your life. I mean, put your hand on your chin real quick.
Okay.
Why is your hand on your cheek?
Because I told myself to do it.
Right? You just followed a suggestion.
Yeah,
I told you to put your hand on your chin,
right.
but you put your hand on your cheek, and that's where I gave you a different direction, because that's what I wanted to get you to do.
Oh, okay, I see.
Right? So the subconscious mind, once you shut the conscious mind off, that's rationally, does this make sense, does it not? The subconscious mind is wide open to suggestion, and it just simply accepts those suggestions.
So tell me about some of the success stories. Tell me about some of the clients that you've had that have come to you, and are there particular themes with all of your clients? Do they have common reasons they can't lose weight, or have they tried everything, or give me a little bit of the background.
I've found over the years of working with different clients that it really comes down to 2 main issues. The one is simply just bad eating habits and laziness. I mean, we're all human, and the subconscious mind is an emotional mind, but it's also a very lazy mind. Once you program it to do one thing, it just goes, well, okay, my work here is done, right? If I sit on the couch for 5 hours after I get home from work, that's just my routine, so that's what I want to do, right? So the first thing that I found is that a lot of people just have developed bad eating habits, bad exercise and activity habits, and that's simply just a matter of reframing the conscious thought process around that and getting you pointed in a new direction that feels great and you want to do it. The second thing is that I found that a lot of people emotionally eat. And there's something that it's not my phrase, but I love this phrase. It's usually not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Oh, good one.
So yes, and I find like at least 50% of my clients are stress eaters. They're really stressed out, and what do? Why do they call it comfort food? Right? Because it switches your mind. Yeah. If I'm plowing down a pizza, I'm not thinking about this stress issue over here. Right? So you're just converting your mind over to another situation. You're focusing on something different. All of a sudden, that pain is at least subsided for a little while. So a lot of people stress eat.
And so obviously their subconscious has trained itself to say, okay, well, this is comfort food. This makes me feel better. So when I feel bad, I feel crappy, my brain already knows, go in this direction, go grab that chocolate, go grab that pizza, whatever it is that makes you feel better. And that stress will be taken away. So it's that reframing and reprogramming of that aspect.
Yes. And even as simple as some people, I mean, what happens at 7 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Everybody hits the donut drive-through, right? Because I got to get my sugar fix. I'm tired. I'm worn out. And people have hypnotized themselves that, okay, if I get my sugar fix, I'll get back the energy, and therefore I'm good to go. Well, that's probably the worst thing you can do, because sugar is basically pure poison. So, and it's nothing but pure calories. And not only that, you will get that initial boost of energy, but 20 minutes later, half an hour later, you crash even harder, right?
So interesting. And I want to hear about some of the clients that you've had, and maybe the weight loss success they've had. And have you used this on yourself as well? Has there been a time where...
I'm a total result of my own product.
Great. And I want to hear that as well. You know, kind of experimenting with yourself, right?
Yes, yes.
You always can tell when there's a hairdresser, because their hair is always funky because they're practicing on themselves. So this is, at least you're providing that good solution. So we're talking to Jimmy Graham, Mind Power Success Coach. You can find online, specifically we're talking about losing weight, but he does have his Mind Power Success programs. But the specific one for losing weight, getfitstayfitprogram.com. Again, getfitstayfitprogram.com. Talking more about what he was illustrating about the mind and restructuring and reframing your thoughts. We'll continue on. If you have any questions, text 101290 or email the TKO Show at bellmedia.ca. It's Caro on the TKO Show. 122 here on the TKO Show with Kara Rowe. We're talking weight loss this half hour. Mind Power Success Coach Jimmy Graham joining me. You can find online this program, getfitstayfitprogram.com, and we're talking about how, reprogramming your brain is what it's going to take to lose that weight. And you've been talking, prior to, as well, some of the success that you've had, and you use this on yourself. So at some point, did you feel like you had weight to lose, and you felt, okay, well, this is something I'm teaching other people, why not I do it for myself?
Pretty much. And the way I approached all my programs is that I needed to make sure it worked for me first before I would release it to the public, because that's the only way I could actually stand behind it. My theory and my process behind the weight loss program that I have is that it's simply, in order to lose weight, you eat less, you move more. Well, if it was that simple, why doesn't everybody do it, right? And it really gets back to, okay, let's look at a normal day. People have to get up, maybe have to get their kids off to school, they're rushing off to work, and then there's always things going on. There's distractions, there's stress, and there's probably the biggest excuse that I hear from everybody, and I'm guilty of it too, is that, oh my God, I just didn't have time.
Right.
Once you start reframing and looking at your day from an observer point of view, you can start seeing little areas where you can improve on maybe making a lunch before you go to work, like the night before, or preparing that breakfast that it's healthy before you get up, and it's all set and ready to go. Starting to manage your time better, because if you can manage your time better, you'll start managing your physical activity, and you'll start eating better because you've got the time to actually do it right.
Now, is there an element, and I understand this, when you come home at night, sometimes you're just like, I just want to sit and chill, even though you sat at a desk all day, which is funny because, you think you haven't been really moving all day, but you actually go home in that lethargic state because you've been sitting all day. So do you have to kind of change that brain over and to say, like, if I move, I will get more energy? Because that's the great thing about exercise. Sometimes I would have, before I started full-time, I would have 24 hours of gigs. Like, I would go from radio show to train fighters to this to that. And the only thing that would keep me going was going for a run. And I hate running. And I'm not that one that says, like, everyone go for a run. It's awful.
Sounds
but
like
it's
fun.
Effective, right? Like,
Right.
It's really effective. And I was like, that was the only thing that would keep me, almost like kinetic energy. When something's in motion, it stays in motion.
It's so
when
true.
When we slow down, and it's like telling our brain, even though we feel tired after work, if you actually go out and be active, you'll have more energy. It's like a lot of stuff that we automatically think, we have to kind of switch up a lot.
Yes, and that's the big thing. I mean, energy creates energy. Once again, it gets back to mindset. If you're coming home from work and you're tired and you're going, oh my God, the last thing I want to do is do anything. I just want to lay on the couch and just be done. Becoming conscious of that and go, wait a minute. Energy creates energy. So why don't I do this? Instead of laying on the couch, let's get a pair of shorts on, t-shirt, it's a nice day out. Let's just go for a walk around 3 blocks. Not going to put pressure on us. We're not going to try and accomplish anything. All I'm going to do is just get my running shoes on, walk around 3 blocks, come back, and let's see how I feel. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, you'll come back and go, wow, okay, yeah, I'm ready to clean the garage or whatever. I mean, but you've got that energy back and you will keep going.
And looking on this website as well, and you mentioned, have you spent, you're asking little things that kind of trigger people to understand, okay, maybe they have to move in a different direction. How many fad diets have you tried? How many exercise programs have you bought? How much dust is piled up on your treadmill? How many times, how much money have you spent trying to lose weight and repeat the cycle over and over again? Now, are these, like, when people end up coming to you and they find out about this, because I think it's more of people not knowing about it and restructuring their brain. Have they gone through all of those most of the time?
Pretty much.
They tried everything.
I found that that I'm now okay with being the last resort.
Right.
I really, because they spend the money on the shakes, they spend the money on the teas, they spend the money on the pills and the DVDs and going to the total torture boot camps and things like that. And then they realize that after a month of doing this, they're just going, oh my God, I don't want to do this. It's really simple. I'm going to be reworking this lose 5 pounds in 5 days. But once again, this gets back to the same premise that's within my program, is that when I'm on the road, I'm not sleeping well. I'm driving all the time. I'm not moving, and the only time I get the chance to eat is usually it's like, you know, the healthiest fast food I can get.
Right.
So usually when I get home from a tour, I'm up 5, 6, 7 pounds. I've developed a program where basically it's called Lose 5 Pounds in 5 Days, and I'm going to be re-releasing that. So if they go to the getfitstayfitprogram.com, they can just put their name and an email in there. They're going to be on my mailing list. I will send them the information on how to get that. But it's super simple, and I documented the whole 5 days, weighing in, showing exactly what I eat. And by day 5, I had lost 5 pounds. And it's really easy to do. And I was eating like 4 or 5 times a day.
Right.
Right? But it's all selective eating the proper amounts, and having the conscious mindset to decide to do it and then doing it.
Yeah. And I think the great thing, too, is that mindset. I know when I was pregnant, in my brain, I told myself, because I love Diet Pepsi, and I was like, it's poison for the baby. And when I told myself that, I didn't touch. Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I wasn't worried about me.
Right.
I didn't touch it for 9 months. Like, literally, if I looked at it, I would gag. Like, I had trained myself so well that if I looked at it or smelled it, I just was like, I can't. Because in my head, I was going to hurt the baby. You know, and it's funny how, that's why I totally believe in this stuff, is that, you know, you're reprogramming your thinking and your thought process, because that's how you're going to act out in what your kind of brain, your deep brain thinks. And are there some things that you have had to abolish in someone's brain? Like maybe it's something they learned, or maybe they heard about themselves when they were a young kid, or you go back and have to figure out, okay, why are you telling yourself this? Or where did that information come from? Sure.
When it's stress eating, I mean, that can cover a whole array of issues. Right. But if it's simply bad habits, and a lot of people have a sweet tooth, right? And what have we been trained since we were kids? Halloween is awesome.
Yeah.
So what happens on Halloween? You get a bag full of a year's worth of sugar. And then it's like, well, it's really cool to eat it. The problem is that sugar is highly addictive. So the one thing that I trained myself to do, and this was really when I got excited about my weight loss program, is that I went on a sugar-free challenge. And I developed a 30-day sugar-free challenge that's contained within my program. I lost 18 pounds in 2 weeks.
Oh, really?
18
How
pounds.
much sweets were you eating?
I was 188 pounds, Kara.
Okay.
And then within 2 weeks, I was down to 170. And I didn't think I was eating sugar, but here's what was happening. I'd have a bowl of cereal, right? And I'd have skim milk. And I thought, well, that's healthy. Then I found out I was consuming, just in that bowl of sugar, or a bowl of cereal and skim milk, probably about 35, 40 grams of sugar.
Oh, wow, yeah.
In one little bowl of cereal. Now, the human body should only intake at the most 30 grams per day.
Right.
So if you're eating 40, 45 grams in, one sitting, times whatever else you're eating, that's why you're gaining weight.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Jimmy, I was happy to have you back again and talking about weight loss. I know you've had success, people losing 50 pounds, a lot of people just having tremendous success. The program is getfitstayfitprogram.com. It's Jimmy Graham. You can find him at mindpowerprograms.com as well. Thank you, Jimmy. More TKO next right here with nutrition and Andrea Doherty.
Man, that goes by so fast.
No, we lose all the time. It just is like too fast.
Even fresher ingredients.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.